Full disclosure, I haven't studied the line of Lot yet. Have not studied the whole line of Lot. Don't even know if I am. I don't know if it's important to go from Genesis to Revelation and study Lot. How important it is. And the only reason why I bring that up is because of Balak and Balaam. Balak is a little upset that Israel has come into the land and kind of taken over. Won many victories under Moses. And he's not happy about it because they're taking up a lot of space. And they've already traveled north. I think that's the Jordan River up there. And really about to engulf Canaan. And the Canaanites are not happy about this. Balaam, non-Israelite, also from the tribe of Lot, as Balak is, probably where they had their relationship. So their belief system is completely different. You know, Lot is the nephew to Abraham. And as I said in the previous video, all these people recognize the power of God. That's not in question at all. Balak is simply just thinks that Balaam, who believes in God, he's seeking out Balaam, supposed prophet, to give him the go-ahead to fight against the children of Israel. And Balaam has said, listen, no, not cool. And I believe Balaam has also studied with Israel. So I think he's familiar with them as well. But he went over to Canaan to make money because he had a talent. It's interesting, the people around you sometimes don't recognize your talent. So he went to Canaan on his own. So he was familiar with that territory as well. This isn't a matter of if they're going to take the land. They're going to take the land. God has already given them the land. In fact, Balaam explains to him, Balaam explains to Balak, God doesn't see any problems with them. Maybe we'll get into that. That's Numbers 23, I think. How does this relate to you and me in our world? Because after all, that's what we're doing. We're taking these stories that we find in the Bible, in the Torah, and we're making them relatable. One thing I want you to catch, my grandchildren, my brothers and sisters in Kenya, my brothers and sisters in Ghana, do not try to find someone to okey-doke your movement. In other words, you know you're doing something wrong, but you're going to try to justify it by finding someone to break their values, to accomplish what you want to accomplish just because you don't like it. Don't do that. That's one lesson you can take from this. Another lesson you can take from this is from the perspective of the Israelites, because I don't believe they're necessarily aware of this conversation at the time. I think they were just moving into their new place, their new places that they were conquering, because God had told them they could take the land. So another thing you can best believe is that God is protecting you while you're making your moves. If you make your moves. There are stories being told that you can't hear. Because God is speaking to everyone. Everyone. I think we have to get beyond this idea that God only speaks to certain people. Balaam is a child of Lot and recognizes the power of God. There are strangers walking with the Levitical tribe that recognize the power of God. Balak doesn't want to make a move without Balaam, who recognizes the power of God. Sometimes our mistakes are we hear what God is telling us, but because we can't see the victory, we don't want to run after the victory. That's already won. Those are some of the lessons you can learn from this. And some of the different perspectives. Some of the different things to pay attention to. So there are a lot of lessons to be learned by even who you would call your enemy. Numbers chapter 22. Let's read some of this stuff for effect. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in the plains of Moab and on this side of Jordan by Jericho. And Balak, the son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. Now, so I looked up Zippor. And information about him is not of any great consequence. It seems to me. So then I looked up Zippor's line, and that's the line of Lot. Lot is the nephew of Abraham. So Lot is Moab. Because Lot had two sons, the Ammonites and the Moabites, by his elder and younger daughters in the cave. When his wife was turned into a pillar of salt, his daughters wanted to continue his bloodline. This is the bloodline that continued from that of Lot. The children of Israel, verse 1 again. And the children of Israel set forth and pitched in the plains of Moab, in the plains of Lot, if you will, on this side of Jordan, which is, the other side is Jericho. So, the children of Israel, which is Jacob and Esau is his brother. Esau land is south of them, and that is Midian. Edom, land of Edom. Priest of Midian, raised for 40 years Moses, who gave him a wife, a job, and keep in mind he was the priest of Midian. That's where Moses came from. Moses is leading this charge. Moses asked for safe passage through Midian and was not granted safe passage. I personally think it was God. That reason Moses had to travel north, I believe, along, oh man, what waterways was that? I think it was along the Red Sea. Photos. Bear with me here, because I want you to see what it takes to win. What it takes to win. And this is what we're talking about. So we went backwards to Kadesh, and back over to Zalmona, past Moab, took over that land, up to Abel Shittim. So, which is near, as I was saying before, it's actually east of the Great Sea, which is the Mediterranean. And I think I said north of in the previous video, so strike that. This is all east of the Arabian Sea by, on the left side or the east side of the Jordan. Because Hebron and Arad and Negeb and Jericho are on the west side of the Jordan. Why is this important? It's important that you know your history so that you know how to win, what to negotiate. Sometimes the biggest challenge with people is that we underestimate other people. And the reason why I'm saying it's important for you to know your history is because your enemy probably knows theirs. Turn this phone off. I should have turned it off before. So that you get the point, Balaam and Balak knew who they were. Israel was in captivity for 400 years. They were not. Let me say it differently, because this is very crucial to all of our success. I'm never going to be able to accomplish what my daughter is going to accomplish, or my sons, whether in Japan or Nepal or whatever. They just have more years to do it. And if they pay attention to my mistakes and my victories, they never have to repeat my mistakes. Never, never, never. That's knowing your history. My brothers and sisters in Kenya and my brothers and sisters in Ghana. Understanding your history and the players that you're playing with and against is crucial to your success. You know how to make your presentations. Balaam was aware of who Israel was. So, when he went into prayer, after Balak asked, and he set up on a couple occasions 7 altars, and God gave him instruction because he sought God. And God doesn't give one person instructions to win like men do, because human beings love competition. And there is no competition with God, because God has a larger vision than individual men do. And listen, play this until you understand it, because you never have to distrust God's plan for your life. If you don't understand, it's just because you're missing something, but it's not because God is missing something. And when I say God, I'm talking about the whole plan of salvation, of deliverance. It belongs to you. Balaam was sought out by Balak because of the wisdom, because of his experience. We want to make it super spiritual. But Balaam understood his history. He knew who Abraham was. He knew he was of the tribe of Lot. He spent time in Israel. He understood, how else would he understand how to see God? Balak understood this because when Balaam didn't give him the okay, he was also of the tribe of Lot, he was upset and said, try again. So they set up another 7 altars of rams and bullocks. Nothing of the first year. There's some old rams and some old bullocks. And, you know, it got to the place where Balaam was traveling, and this is the old story that most people understand. When he was stopped while he was riding his donkey, his long-time donkey. Numbers chapter 22, verse 21, and Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the prince of Moab. And God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. He was riding upon his ass and his 2 servants with him. And the ass saw the angel of the Lord, but he and the 2 servants didn't. Standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand, not to stop Balaam, but to stop the ass. And the ass turned aside out of the way and went into the field, and Balaam smote the ass. Like it was the ass's fault because he didn't see. Pay attention to what I'm saying. He didn't see the angel of the Lord. And to turn her into the way. But the angel of the Lord stood in the path of the vineyards. A wall on this side and a wall on that side. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself into the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. That's 2 times. And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam. And Balaam's anger was kindled like, what's up? You ever have one of those things where, you know, you're trying to do, I know I do. It's like I'm trying to get things done and I can't get nothing done. And so you want to blame the object instead of paying attention and looking up and saying maybe something's wrong. I like this part because this is the part I really need. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass and said, she unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? Man starts talking to his ass. And Balaam said unto the ass, because thou hast mocked me. He still didn't get it. Verse 30. And the ass said unto Balaam, not I thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever since, then unto this day was I ever wont to do so unto thee? And he said, nah, or nay. He's trying to get him to see what's going on. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam. There's a lot there, and well, we got a little time. I'm going to take a little time. There's a lot there that I want to discuss with you. My grandchildren, my brothers and sisters in Kenya, my brothers and sisters in Ghana. There's a lot there, and we're going to explore it, and you're going to get something out of this. Because this will make the difference between you being successful and being poor for the rest of your life. Now, when I speak of poverty, I'm not speaking of just money. That's what the world wants you to think, that it's about money. It's not about money. There are very successful people that I know today that have money and they're still unhappy. It's not about money. In fact, they have money and still chasing money. Not about money. No, this is about destiny. It's about obedience. It's about sacrifice. It's about love. It's about respect. Being able to be an agent of these things will open you up to untold wealth. Not riches. Wealth. What is wealth? Legacy. When you understand your history, you become wealthy. When you walk your path, you leave wealth. So understand your history and walk your path. Whatever that path is, I don't know what your path is. But you have been granted a path. You may not want to fight for that path, as some of the children of Israel did not want to do. They wanted to blame Moses. But Moses had already walked his path. And was simply trying to show the people how to walk theirs, including his brother who died and his sister who died. Now he's walking into Canaan, ancient land that belonged to them a long time ago. And he's showing them how to conquer the land. On the other end, there's this cat named Balak who wants to fight, just like everyone else wanted to fight, but they lost. And Balak was at least smart enough to get Balaam. Balaam, who had a certain amount of wisdom, because he had, again, understood his history. He understood the children of Israel. He understood the promises to the children of Israel. Because he saw God. And God said, don't do it. Okay. And so he told Balak, can't do it. Balak didn't believe him. He did it again. Gave him another altar, 7 altars. Took him to another place, 7 altars. And he kept trying to make promises to Balaam. And Balaam was like, I don't really need your promises. And I can't go into the whole story because this is only 24 minutes or 25 minutes. And then if I go into the whole story of how the the honorable princes came to Balaam to try to get him to change his mind, and all this other stuff. It's not about changing your mind. It's about doing what God tells you to do. Whatever the cost is. Number one, study your history. Number two, become masters of your path. Masters of your path. I think the third thing is have a strong core group too. Israel had a strong core group. Very strong core. They've been through a lot. And they were standing together and they were winning these small victories along the way. From a different perspective, with Balaam, the prophet, some people wonder if he was a prophet or not, or as I read, study it. Obviously, these were prophetic things he was telling Balak. Even under pressure, do not change your mind. That's another lesson from a different perspective, especially when you're trying to take something from someone you shouldn't be messing with. Walk your path. Balak and his princes, the princes of Moab, were trying to walk another path. But it could be their path to try to. Balaam had to learn how to see God himself and ran across some opposition to do it. And he did. And even in that, the grace and mercy of God told him to keep moving forward. And maybe we'll talk about this in the next video. To have this continuous conversation with Balak that we've already kind of discussed, but we kind of glazed over. So there are a lot of lessons to be learned here. Walk your path. Understand the history. Have a good core group. All these things are important. CashApp $MrPaulDozier. CashApp $MrPaulDozier. We're on a journey from Genesis to Revelation. I do not know how long it's going to take. But I certainly thank you for taking this journey with us.